Kickstarter tabletop game project every weekday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give my honest thoughts on how that project is being ran. And today, I am actually incredibly excited to get your feedback on how I'm going to handle the following project. Because today we're checking out, I believe it's the 27th. Why are you not letting me scroll? Go down. There's 21, 24, 27, 30. Oh, no, it's further than that. 33, 36, 39. Holy guacamole, I lost it. 42, 45. No, I think it might have fallen. 48. No way it's this low. 51. It's 54. Oh, my gosh. But it's Vrahode. I thought it was way higher than this. No, it's not. Wow, I think this is sinking like a rock because I was checking it earlier and it was higher on the popularity chart. And yeah, we're looking popularity. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the number 2. But anywho, while I'm looking for this, I do want to talk a little bit of the behind the scenes. So I actually have a preview/review, whatever you want to call it, copy of this on my, actually not my table anymore, that I played now, I think 7 times. And before we get into this, I do want to mention, say 7 times. Oh, really? Don't sound that impressed by it, because the first mission is literally just like this tutorial where it's like beat 2 people up. And I played that 3 times. So take that with a grain of salt. But today we're checking out Vrahode, Age of Prophecy. Now, I don't even know where to start here. So first things first, main image is really unappealing. Just there's incredibly large amounts of wasted space here. Like, why do we need so many mountains? Adventure awaits the brave. That is not a good use of our space. The name up here, like our logo, once again, and I know they really like showing off their logo, which is something I'm going to mention when I talk about the actual prototype. But there's just, like, look at this. This is like a solid 30%. Right? 30% that's just completely useless. There could be so much more useful information here that's not. And the other thing is, you've shrunk stuff down that I can't even see how massive your box is, because it is a really massive box. I get the vibe, but I don't see it. And they're not spotlighting what is going to sell this game. Like, I immediately am even more annoyed than I was at the rule booklet, which is what I'm going to talk about when we get into this. Because I do want to start, I'm not going to bury the lead. The rule booklet in its current form is bad. I got really mad because I felt like I was blind playtesting a lot on this Kickstarter prototype, and that's not how it's supposed to work. I was supposed to get it, and it's supposed to be a clean, smooth process. We don't have a couple notes here or there potentially, like, oh, you can streamline this. No, it was a god-awful rulebook experience. But here's the good news for you. I'm going to give them a lot of feedback about how they can improve it, because it's not hard to fix it. It's just some of the decisions they made were incredibly unexplainable, and we'll talk more about those in details, but I don't want to get into too much for now. But the main image, really bad here. Like, so much wasted space. Like, that's 30%. That's like, what, 5 to 10%? So we're looking at like 40% wasted, and then I can't see any of the things, because the main selling point on this is undoubtedly this thing right here on the bottom right corner, which is a really cool tray system, but I can't see it. I know nothing about it, and that is undoubtedly the biggest selling point of this game. It's not the minis, which are fine. It's not the fact that it's every copy includes ink wash minis. They're going about this whole, like, because here's the if you want to advertise that, you know what you do it up here, not yeah, it's whatever. And I know Kickstarter now doesn't want to make it look like a used car lot, but it's just Vrahode Age of Prophecy is a story-driven cooperative adventure game for 1 to 4 players. Okay. And it is. That's what it is. And it's fun when it works. Let's click on it, zoom in on the main image. It's this. It's right here. It's this thing right here. And I'm sure they're going to show it in the video, but it's a really cool system. It's funded $15,613. They have a phony baloney goal of $15,000. So, not sure what to read into that. But as always in the video, I'm thinking 3 things. Do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? And yeah, you'll see why it's a phony baloney goal once we get into what this game is. Let's go.
The Age of Prophecy is here.
Yeah, so now you're like, wow, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, you're going to keep track of all this stuff here. There's a whole bunch of things. You'll have cards slotted in there. There's actually like a system kind of similar to Conan, if you played that game, where you're going to be moving essentially like your gems from here to there and the action points. It's a really cool system. And that's the tiny box. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm excited to see the tiny box, because the current box is just absolutely, at least the prototype one that I have, it's massive. It's a monstrosity. And it doesn't feel like it needs to be. And I'm sure it's because there's going to be a boatload of minis in it eventually.
We can feel it in our very bones. Heroes come together to seek the truth in a time of chaos.
No.
And ready themselves
Yes. Okay. Yes. That was it. That was the shot right there. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Starts with a plastic tray. You put the thing on top. It's actually, I believe, a triple layer board because how it works is that's like all the way through. That's all the way through. This is just slotted. So you're going to have a bunch of little white pegs that go down here, which, by the way, those are god awful. But I'm not going to, I'm going to assume that by the final version that gets to you, they're going to have some other different version of the peg because, once again, it's going to be in my strongly worded video message that I send them eventually. Because, yeah, these things, they will fall out all the time if you bump the table or if you pound the table like, ah, crap. And the thing is, it's not like easily reverse engineered sometimes. I think there was one of them, or maybe it was. No, I don't think it was for something. It was, yeah. But it was the prototype. Take that with a grain of salt.
Exciting and perilous adventure with no...
And the problem with them is they're too tall. Like, if they would have just made them smaller, because right now, they're too tall and you can easily bump them because they pop up. And I know why they did that, because then they're easier to grab. So they're like, oh, they're easier to grab now. But by doing that, they're much easier to bump as well. And it's... Which one you pick? I think you pick the one that's going to impact gameplay. Like, one's a frustration and one's like, oh, crap. Like, one's a potentially big deal. But it's the lesser of two evils, really, unless they figure out a better way to do it.
No guarantee of returning home.
And I want to say, I still enjoy the game. Like, me and my son, when it worked, had a lot of fun with this. I think it's going to be a really solid family weight game and a game night style game if they can fix those effing rules.
Journey across the Overlands. Navigate the treacherous oceans and delve through the dark...
No, like it's just...
Underlands.
You're just showing me art here, right? You're just showing me art. And I know you want to, like, it's like not even the story. Like, I don't feel like I really felt much about the story. It's just felt like art components. It feels a little bit soulless right now, this Kickstarter video and the Kickstarter main image. I'm just not, because it's, I don't know why. We'll put my finger on it later.
Face a host of deadly enemies.
That was a nice shot right there. Upgrade to minis. I like that because now I know there's going to be at least 2 pledge levels. Good to know.
Through 24 thrilling campaign encounters.
I believe I've played 5 of the 4. I played 4. We have 8 that grand total in the reviewer copy that I have. So just want to put that there. But 20, that's a really nice number. That is fantastic, and I love the fact they're spotlighting that. And once again, I go back to that god-awful main image where 40% of our main image is completely wasted for the most part. And you're telling me no one was like, hey, maybe we mentioned right there that we have 20 missions. You know, especially if you showcase to me that these are what the missions look like instead of what you showcased to me, which was not much. Mountains, your artwork, which... It's not great. Like, it's not like I'm like it's not bad. It's just, it's like, it's not one of those ones you're like, why are we focusing so much on the artwork? Like, I just don't get it. Like, sometimes I get it. Like, oh, you got a famous artist, you got a really distinctive art style, amazing art, get it. But this one's like, it's good. It's good art. Yeah, looks good. I do actually really like these. Those look pretty cool. And I'm excited to see all 20 too.
Equip your heroes with the skills and resources they need to survive. Keep your heroes rested to avoid fatigue affecting your rolls. Use your weapons to attack enemies on the field of battle.
And that's what I was talking about right there. There's some things that, so this is like, so you have cool action cards, you're going to be able to upgrade them, and you can spend your, whatever the heck this thing is called to do it, but you keep track of stuff down here, like your fatigue and stuff like here, and, you know, if you bump it, it doesn't feel like there's a great way to reverse engineer it, if I recall correctly, because you can use stuff, I don't know, it's just, there's so much that annoyed me with. I want to love this game, but it just feels like they were like, okay, we're 90% of the way. Let's just shove it as hard as we can out the door. To meet some arbitrary deadline, timeline, something like that, I'm going to imagine. Because it's just frustrating. Because the amount of time and effort that went into this game, like the prototype that I got, that was sent out to numerous people. It's a massive prototype, tons of stuff in it, lots of, like, there's just tons of work put into this. It just feels like the last 10% on, specifically, on the Kickstarter page, because I did browse it. I cheated a little bit. I browsed it early. And then the rule booklet, it's just 10% more. Like, I feel like that's one of the best rules with Kickstarter. If you think you are close to being done and ready to launch your Kickstarter, just put in 10% more. All around. Everywhere around the board. Just everywhere. 10% more. I doubt you're going to regret it.
Use your weapons to attack enemies on the field of battle.
And there was quite a few cool weapons. You could dual wield. It had range, which was like, and you felt like, man, I want to like this game so much.
With success and damage determined by the dice and enemies mitigation.
Yeah, I will mention one thing that my buddy Ronnie specifically hated. And so I want to mention it because I know there's other people that hate it out here. It does that thing where a 1 is great and a 20 is terrible, and you get excited when you roll it like, oh, they did that. But it's like for no good reason. It's like when a game's like, yeah, go counterclockwise. And you're like, why? And it's like, because we're cheeky.
Take your first steps into this fresh fantasy world and get ready for all that is to come in the world of Vrahode.
Oh my god, that's so cart in front of the horse, it hurts my soul. I did see that there was a whole bunch of Vrahode things on Kickstarter. So this right here, that's a heck of a tease. And this seems to be the go-to for quite a few people. I saw another Kickstarter, High Noon, that like this is like you add another level and it's like, it's just so cool. It has so many possibilities and new characters, which is what it is. So hopefully that's something that I get here because that's super exciting. Like if that's something where it's like, oh, we're not getting that at all for like another couple of years. I'm like, oh, I wish you wouldn't even mention it almost. Then RPG books. This looks super cart in front of the horse right here, right? Especially when we get to that price, you're like, oh, they're on day 2 and they're just over the funding goal, and then you're like, well, and it's also a fake funding goal. Like that's the worry. Like it's like if this thing slogs in the middle and they're sitting at like, I don't know, 30-ish or something, that's when you're like, well, hopefully they're just, footing the bill and then they're just going to pay back a little bit of it to themselves because because here's the thing, they're also doing 2 versions of the game, presumably. No, I imagine they're doing 1 version of the game probably. No, I think it's 2 boxes. Well, which then thinks like, where are they manufacturing through? What's the minimum print run? Most of the time it's going to be 1,000, 1,500. And if you're making 2 games, 2 separate boxes, that's when you really start to look at these prices. You're like, ooh, yeah. And if these are available, dear God, if all this is available, if I could purchase all this, that's like a massive red flag of, wow, that $15,000 funding goal looks super sus. So hopefully I am really fingers crossed that these are not available here. But at the same time, teasing it's like so cart in front of the horse. I think it just looks bad. I get it looks good that you're excited, but without a personal touch and without like really wowing anyone. I don't feel like this video wowed. Aside from the one big thing, which I think they should have absolutely should be spotted. This is it. And every time I play it, like this is it. Everything else about this game is super. It feels milquetoast, and that's not a bad thing. Like that, I'd say Gloomhaven, milquetoast, right? It's just like there's a genre of games, and it's like you know it when you see it. Like you're doing the map, you're moving around, action points, like, and it's very popular, and I like those style games. But this one doesn't feel like it sets itself apart, except for with this system, at least through what I've seen so far. And that's really hard to set yourself apart, because once again, these style games are massively popular because everybody realizes there are easy ways to make hundreds of thousands of dollars and spin off into huge franchises. Right? Right? Is that still how it works?
Equip your heroes with the skills and resources they need to survive. Keep your heroes rested.
But yeah, it is such a cool system. Like your equipped items are here, and there's another slot over there. I love it. I want it to work so well. And it does what it does.
Use your weapons to attack enemies on the field of battle with success and damage.
Whoa, yeah, okay. Yeah.
World of Vrahode.
Here we go. Holy God, what the heck? What are you? Oh my God, that was so much stuff. One at a time. So we have an expansion, which adds new monsters, and it's going to add 2nd level. Awesome, want it. RPG stuff, don't care in any way, shape, or form, but certainly some people do. Cool.
Of Vrahode.
The Enlightened and the Enslaven. This looks like an RPG accessory for when you're running the Vrahode RPG accessory. Jiminy Christmas, we are so far in front of the horse. I want a coffee mug next. Get me a fanny pack. Oh, is that 2? Did we? Jiminy God! So 1, 2. Look how quick that was, facing the storm. So yet again, this is just another box full of stuff that's going to be for the role-playing aspect, presumably. Or no, actually, it looks like it's going to be for both. Oh, yeah, it's going to be for both, it looks like, because those are cards potentially in the game, and then, yeah, this is I hope they're not lumped together. That's a gamble. I don't think it's a good one either. Let me know what you think about that one. Like, I've seen other companies do that before, where they try and lump stuff from 2 separate games together, and it's like, I don't know, I just feel like most people don't want that. Like, I remember AEG did it way back in the day with, like, planes, trains, and automobiles. Like, there was, like, an expansion. It was, like, for 3 different games. It was, like, it was such an interesting idea, but at the same time, it's like, do people want that? Do you want to pay extra for, you know, stuff that you don't have, potentially? I don't think they do. Wow, why are, this is so quick. They really want to, like, we can't have it more than 90 minutes. Like, we can't smooth off that extra second. We got to go 90. You know what you could have smoothed off? You could have smoothed off about the first 12 seconds before you got into the trays. Like, where we're focusing on artwork. Because I think that... Like, if you really were like, how do we cut out a second? Because I almost feel like focusing on this stuff is... I don't even know at this point. There's another one. So it's 4, 5 expansions? 6? Like, what the hell is this? Is this like a mega box? I can't... Like, what are you doing?
Vrahode, Age of Prophecy. Launching on Kickstarter October 1st, 2024.
You know, I honestly feel like this is one of those few times where I would say that I feel like this might be doing better on GameFound. And it's not just because GameFound's been crushing it recently. I mean, with how uninspiring the main image looks, being in a sea of other main images that maybe aren't so as not good, I would say. Whereas at GameFound, it's like, oh, there's like 16. Like, here's 12. You scroll for like 4 seconds and you've seen everything that's live, and maybe this catches your interest for whatever reason. But, man. It's funded. $15,613. 142 backers have made it possible. But is that over $1,000 a pop? Phony baloney. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's $100 a pop? Yeah, that's right, because it does have a great price, which once again makes me dislike the main image even more. Jeff Irving, and I did an interview with him. I think it, what was it? Origins, way back when. I'm the owner of Weatherman Games, the designer of Vrahode Game System. Oh, woo, system. Ugh, word scares me. That word's, you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Back when I was just a wee boy of around 30, there used to be this line of thinking on Kickstarter. Used to be real polite, kind of Midwestern sort of line of thinking. That, you know what? Maybe I'll launch with just a small card game or something. Just a little tiny thing. Wet people's whistles, build up a fan base, learn how to run a Kickstarter, see how the back end works, look into all the logistics, all those things, and then that small box game would lead to the big box game, where you have that a little bit of an email list, where you have a little bit of brand loyalty, where you can really launch off big time potentially, and really hopefully get people's eye. I feel like people have gone away from that now, and I feel like it's such a terrible idea. Because I can only imagine the amount of money put into something like this on the front end. And I gotta say to myself, if they would have just launched like a 108 card game a year ago and made $8,000, and maybe they just pushed it through the door, they'd still learn so much from that before you launch something like this, I think. And it's just, ay. Kickstarter, man, it's so weird. It's so weird. People are like, oh, it's so risky. It's like, man, it's so risky, but you can mitigate that risk by ways. All right, so Vrahode, do I want it after the video? After the video, maybe. I think maybe's the answer. Like, I think that system looks really cool, and I think it looks familiar but different to the 20 everythings. It looks, yeah. So do I want it? Yeah, I kind of do. Can you do it? I don't know yet, but the cart in front of the horse here scares me. Like, the fact that you're like, oh, hey, we're going to spend 1 minute and 9 seconds talking about our game, and then we're going to talk about 22 seconds of all the stuff we want to do in the future around our game. I don't know. I agree. Too many first-time creators launching big box games, big box campaigns. Yeah, like it's like, oh, your first, like it just looks bad, and it's one of those mini. I don't know if it's a mini red flag or just a regular size red flag, right? Because it's just people see the big old dollars, and I'm not saying that Jeffrey did this, but I 100% have seen other people in the past who are like, yeah, I saw the big dollars. I was like, I'm gonna throw in some minis in there, we money, and that used to be the truth, like 5-6 years ago. It used to be the truth, but then you got companies that just started ruining it for everybody. Every copy includes ink wash minis, starting at only $79. That's a great price. Once again, 40% of that main image I feel like is just completely unnecessary, like fluff, like adventure. You again. You know what? It's right here. It's right there. I don't need it here. How about you tell me there's 20 missions? How about you tell me it starts at $79? Maybe you tilt that box just a little bit to show me how stinking big that box is, and then tell me that box is $79, and all of a sudden, I'm getting that vibe that you probably don't know about. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I'm saying that as someone who's just realistic here. One of the best things about backing Kickstarters, and I've heard this, I've felt this before, is when you back it and it hits a boatload of stretch goals, and then people look back retroactively and they're like, Jesus, how good was that price? And you're like, yeah, that's because we smashed stretch goals. Yeah, you start adding 13 minis and 27 cards to a game, you better bet the price starts to look really stinking good. And that's what it feels like this one has the potential to do at only $79. So I love the fact that it is right there, front and center, when I click. But at the end of the day, I'm not inspired to click by your main image. So I'm not going to go find out it's $79. I'm going to look at this, zoomed out. It's going to look incredibly generic because all you're showing me is adventure awaits the brave. There's like a half horse with a staff because that's not overdone. And like, oh, it's a stabby guy and he's green. Like, cool. That's good stuff to have in the game, but that's not a selling point, right? No one's like, man, I can't wait to play this character and stab people as a plant. But if someone says $79 with stretch goals, okay. Like, useful information. I don't get why people do not put more thought into their main image and look at it. Just look at it. Why would you not mention you have 20 missions? 20 missions for $80. There, you're done. That's a huge selling point. You can tell me right from the jump. And they did once I got inside, though. So kudos on that. Vrahode Game Prophecy is a story-driven cooperative adventure game. I would also put this on the front. I don't know why it's not. Once again, so much space here. Let me know it's a solo game. Let me know it goes an hour or 2 hours. That's a sweet spot. 20 missions. Yes, please. You tell me you're not going to have solo gamers potentially pounding down your door more interested in this game? Granted, it doesn't feel particularly well-balanced solo. And once again, that goes back to the rules, which I haven't really talked too much about, except briefly, but it's just, the rules were so bad, and they just reeked of not being blind play tested. Like, the first turn, there would be like two very obvious questions about like, how does line of sight work? And they don't put it in like the tutorial part. You have to go to the back of the rule booklet to like the where they put situational crap. And it's like, line of sight's probably going to happen on the first turn. Put it where I'm learning. Because essentially what you're saying is, yeah, start up the game and then either guesstimate what you think line of sight rules are or go to the back of the rule booklet. Because, and you know where you're going to go? You're going to go to the spot that you just read and you're going to assume that you just missed it. Because you're like, surely you would talk about line of sight if I'm going to have it in the first tutorial freaking mission. And there's like two things that are like that. We're like, how would you not just put this at the beginning? Oh, I don't even want to talk that rule booklet, man. Oh, it's so bad. All right, base game plus the minis upgrade. Also, I don't think they did a good job spotlighting one of the selling points they mentioned to me in an email, which was there's actually a really cool system they have where you can place plastic over it between missions and it will keep everything in place, which feels like a really awesome thing to mention, you know, maybe along with the we have 20 missions. Right? It's just no-brainer stuff. Like, I say it out loud, and you're probably like, yeah, duh. And it's like, yeah, know what to spotlight in your game. They really need to lean into the price a bit more. Yeah, it's a great price. And if they start hitting stretch goals, which they will if they have them, because they have a phony baloney funding goal, I don't know if they're going to hit stretch goals, because... okay, so this is its own side box. Okay, so this is going to be a minis box. So you pay $46 extra, and you get minis box, which comes with... so everybody gets these ones, but these ones comes with more minis. How many? 48. So all the monsters. Okay. Bauer's Law says this should be the most popular. I mean, it's, yeah, 48 minis for $46 doesn't feel bad, right? I guess it doesn't feel terrible. Plus, you're assuming there's probably going to be some more in the future. Fine. The price per mini is always something that stands out to me. Yeah, and it's interesting. And it's a really inexact science, too. Because it's like, how big are they? Right? I don't know. Maybe if you told me, you clearly have went out of your way to emphasize these minis. They are, in fact, their own pledge level. Like, it's just, oh, the game plus the minis. Yet you don't tell me the sizes. And it's just odd. And you're not zooming in. Like, why are they so clumped together? This feels like not looking around the room. Like, if you are trying to pound your chest about your minis, let me see the details on your minis if I'm a painter, right? Unmatched. Love that series. Just launched a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one. Love them growing up, but the bloody price for the deluxe is horrible. I also love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I liked Unmatched. I might have to check that one out next week. Legendary Pledge. So we're up to 155. So that, how much is that a jump? A $30 jump? Okay. So I made that jump. It's fine. So what's the extra 30? Acrylic tokens. So 30 extra bucks in carbon sleeves? Ew. Ick. Ick. Ick, ick, ick. So, conceivably, so plain card sleeves. Don't know. So, yeah, I think Bauer's Law is going to be broken. I don't imagine this is going to be the most popular one because, well, the acrylic tokens might do it. They probably will. Yeah, I think it will be. I don't think it's going to be well, but I think they will have the most on that bottom one. Especially, you know, first 48 hours kind of thing. Big supporters sort of thing. All right, so 4 hero boards, free ink wash. Now you're showing the sizes. Good. Mix this with what's up there. I feel like makes sense to me. Standees, 48 standees, 10 standee holders. Didn't we just talk about what's in the box? Oh, you did that weird thing that I just don't understand. Why not just mush this together with what's in the box? It's so odd to me that you put two essential shopping areas, not just, I mean, they're right next to each other, so it's not as big as when people put them way apart. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Okay, first problem that I had with this game, fixed. And I bet some reviewers or them mentioned it, good. Peg system, done. Rule booklet, I got that, homie. If their rule booklet's still garbage, I'll wear that one on the chin a little bit because I'm going to give them a video. Let me rephrase that. If their tutorial mission rule booklet is still garbage, because I swear that rule booklet after the first game was beat to snot. It literally was me and my friend Ronnie in a 2-player game, and he was making jokes by the end about how if we couldn't find a rule, we should go to the back first and don't assume we didn't miss it, even if it's like an obvious rule. And he was right, and it's just like, it just feels like the last portion of the rule booklet they just got lazy with. They're just like, just throw it there. Maybe we'll mix it in later. Add-ons, $55, and hopefully it's going to be a work. And hopefully it's a work in progress. They are upgrading it, but that's the other thing that I do want to mention. They sent me an email saying, "Hey, we improved the actually, this is a little fun story here. $20 for card sleeves. Okay, how much card sleeves am I getting? A number would be nice. They emailed me and they're like, oh. And I was reading through the email and said, oh, actually, I've made some improvements to the rule booklet. And I felt like such a tool. I was like, oh, thank God. Because we played it, and then I was like, oh, great. Because I was like, surely they fixed so many of these super obvious things. And they didn't. They didn't fix hardly any of them. In fact, they made the rule booklet a little bit more worse by adding other situational things where I read it and I was like, well, what if I do this, though? Like, I wasn't even in the situation, right? It was like, I could just picture it in my head. I was like, but what if this happens? I think there was like 2 things. And I was like, oh, of course it's not covered. Why would it be covered? Why would we want ants? Like, but when you have games like this, that's gonna happen. But it also seems really weird too, and that's another thing that concerns me. I shouldn't say that because I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna strike that last part from the record because I've only seen 8 of the 20. So never mind. My last concern that I had is done. So we got a preview, an overview, cool, power-ups with the skills, stuff, things, video. Is Vrahode Prophecy for you? Leading off with that one. There we go. I salute this. This is the laziest form of videos, and that's not an insult. That's me being jealous. That's me literally being the guy, one of the first ones, or gals, just people in general, as far as I know, and let me know, fact check me on this, that really was just like, because my line of thinking was, man, my Kickstarter coverage gets good views, but covering Kickstarter games, like physically getting the games and having to deal with god-awful rule booklets, which happens a lot, it actually made it so my wife doesn't even like to play games anymore. She got so burnt out on Kickstarter rule booklets when I first started my channel. Not fun fact. That I was like, man, how can I get rid of the frustration of garbage rule booklets and other things of that ilk while still covering Kickstarters? And that's how the Kickstarter Critique started. And like this is like the lowest form. Is it for you? And it's just like it takes a 3-minute view, and it's like it's the lowest common denominator, but it works. It's like the most bare bones preview without having played the game, but it works. Great idea. Kudos to him. Like, that's not me throwing shade. That's me being jealous that I didn't think about it. But then again, I also would hate myself doing that segment. It's the same way I feel like when I do an unboxing video, like a normal one, and I'm just like, God, why am I doing this? This is such a garbage piece of content. All right.
Hello.
I just hate unboxing videos in general, most of the time. Unless you can spice them up, make them interesting. We got thematic previews. Oh, a review. Gutsy! Are they just using the term interchangeably? What the heck is this?
To start your adventure. And that's just what you do.
Does this have opinions?
For me, Vrahode, what can I say? I really, really like this.
Okay, cool, it is. Solo Kickstarter, great. So they got tons of videos here. And once again, this goes back to what I said. Look at the cost of these prototypes and how many of them were sent out. And to start 15,000 in the first 2 days when you have eyes in the sky on RPG books and second story stuff and all this other stuff, instead of just focusing on the game, it just looks bad. It looks bad. And in here, this is a smattering of, I'm assuming, paid reviews and non-paid reviews. Because mine was unpaid. It was just, yeah, send it to me. It looks cool. Type of dealio. But so there's a lot of money in the front end. Tabletop Simulator, that's awesome. Love that. Try it out yourself. And then we have lore. An event, what is this? Is this, oh, do I have to read this? Jesus, do I have to read all this to enjoy this? Shut your mouth. Tell me this is not... Are you serious? That can't be right, right? I'm going to try and just figure this out without all that stuff. Crier in the event, Crier in the Sky event, a Stirring in the Plains event. Okay. I guess it is this. And I can't complain that hard because, once again, this is supposed to be a story-driven game, even though I will say I was getting the story more as I progressed. I was. Like, I would be interested to see where the story goes. But it's not like, it wasn't amazing. It was like, yeah, I'm curious. We'll see what's going on. I'm hoping it's going to, I'm sure it's going to get better later on, hopefully. Hopefully. Especially if they have an RPG book planned, right? Like, if they have an RPG books planned, I'm assuming there's going to be some good story here. Get a copy of Vrahode Age of Prophecy long before it touches retail, exclusive content, substantial discounts, daily lore unlocks. Oh my gosh, I got to come back for that. And some people do. I don't. I'm being sarcastic, but I'm sure some people do. That, though, it's what I always tell people. Always remember, your game is not special to 99% of the people. It is special, even less than that. It's like less than that, right? Wow, this is so many people working on this game. Oh my gosh, how much money was put in this game in the front end? That is just a boatload of game people for a first-time project. Jiminy Christmas, that's scary. That is scary. And that 50,000, man, that 50,000 funding goal looks even scarier now. But I can tell you, I know there's definitely some good money behind this because, like I said, they were at conventions before, and that's not cheap. I think they were at conventions like 2 years ago. And that's the other thing. Jesus, if this is like, that's the rule book. It's like, what was the rule book look like 2 years ago? It's just mind-boggling to me, that rule booklet. It just blows my mind how, and I've seen, and once again, it shouldn't, because I have covered literally, like, I've gotten preview copies of games hundreds of times. Like, if you're new to the channel, you're like, what? When do you do that? Yeah, I used to do it all the time back in the day. This is not a new thing for me. So it's just like, but that rule booklet, man, it just reeked of we didn't blind playtest this to the 1,000th degree, and it's not a good feeling. All right, so what do we got? Oh, yeah, let's check out the pledge levels. See if Bauer's Law was broken. So many thoughts on this one. 2, retailer pledge. Okay. Cool. Core pledge, 40. All right. And that's, I mean, you don't want a lot on that because you want a lot down here. 16 on the rare pledge. That's not good unless this one's the banger, but I'm guessing it's not. I'm going to just be like 50, right? Like, I don't think it's, 63. That's what I was saying. I don't think Bauer's Law is going to get broken, but I don't think it's getting anywhere near what Bauer's Law would say, which is 7 to 10, because that is the number. On average, if you watch this channel, I've done over 1,000 of this segment. Your legendary pledge, or whatever you want to call it, your big deluxeified thing, on average, is going to be 7 to 10 times more popular than your standard pledge. And if it's not, that means you screwed the pooch. Or, yeah, just in general, that just means you screwed the pooch. Either in what's in the pledge, or how you sold the pledge, or the price of the pledge, or you advertised the pledge, or a variety of different things. But 7 to 10 times to 1 is the rule of thumb, and that's the rule of thumb for a reason. Like, hundreds and hundreds, because most Kickstarters now have that. All right, and once again, now we're back to, okay, so did we go through the whole page? Yeah, we did. It wasn't particularly long, so no stretch goals, so no real exciting reason to come back except for the lore drops, which makes a lot more sense on the lore drops now. I like the lore drops better now. They're like, we don't have stretch goals, we can't do stretch goals. So, and this is going to launch June 2025, so they're hoping for an Origins release. That makes sense, because I think that's where I met them at Origins. So Origins, Gen Con, and hopefully that'd be like a big bell on the ball. I see what they're going for here. I'm rooting for them. Fix the rule booklet. Just launched, yeah. So, FAQ updates, comments, give this one a grade. When will the game deliver? Come on. When is the first game? This is your first game. Why should we trust you? Yes, it is Weatherman Games' first game, but we have trusted partners who can help us navigate the potential pitfalls of first-time publishers. This is also why we spent the extra time and money to finish the game prior to launching on Kickstarter. How is that answer, right? How is that answer? We have trusted partners. Like, I feel like that would be a time where if you're trying to convince me, you mention specifically trusted partners, right? You're just like, oh, don't worry, I got trusted partners. Hey, oh, cool. He's got oh, cool. Never mind, we're good. And I guess you could go down to the bottom, and maybe that's like what they're like, oh, you can go see the trusted partners down here, but I don't think there's a lot of information to really make me feel like, is this what you're talking about, trusted partners? Maybe, I guess. The people you're working with, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to go with there. It just doesn't feel like a great answer. You go to retail, can you use your pledge manager? Cool, whatever. Updates. Great start. We are nearing our funding goal and excited to welcome new heroes of Vrahode. As a new company launching its first game, it is the busiest crowdfunding month of October. We are pleased and excited with the launch so far. Understand that the campaign, that feels like that. I wonder if that's why they rushed it. In the busiest crowdfunding month of October. Yeah. Like the fact that you lead with that. That's such an, I mean, it's not bad. It's just, it makes me wonder if that's why it's rushed in October. Like, that extra 10% could have been them launching in January with polish and polish and polish. But January's dead. December's dead. But then again, I always feel like there is definitely a market. Like, if you can be the only pretty looking thing on Kickstarter in December and January, if there's only like 3 or 4, I feel like it does. I feel like there's a counterbalance to it. Your support will help potentially offset product costs. It looks like a great package. I'm really looking forward to it. Just a little more and founded. Cool. So let's check out the comments. Hopefully. So we funded no update. Okay. I have a draft copy of the rule booklet. Would it be possible to provide a link to a low-res version? My versions load very slowly for some reason. I also think the rule booklet on the campaign page would be helpful in general. Yeah. Ew. Icky. Point grade bump down. That's even worse. That just reeks of we're trying to hide it. Ugh, yeah, because it's not, here's the thing, it's not like they can't even play like the spoiler card here, because there's a separate like rule booklet, and then there's, you read like the map that you put out, and that also has setup instructions as well. So the fact that they are not putting just that rule booklet on there is such a rookie, inexperienced mistake, and that's a point grade bump down. Like, that's the kind of thing that really pisses me off as a consumer, because it's just stupid not to put it there in every single situation for the most part, because it's helpful to everyone. People can read it, and then they can decide if the game is going to be for them, and it's useful to consumers. People can read it, and then they can tell you the questions they have after reading your rule booklet, and you could say, oh, yeah, okay, it's covered right there. It's on page 17. Oh, it's covered on page 17. And if you get a couple people asking you a consistent question, then you say, maybe we reorganize our rule booklet so it makes more sense. And it's not so frustrating when we send it out to content creators. Because I guarantee you, if we got into a room together, and I will get into a room together with some of these content creators in the future, Vrahode's going to come up, and we're going to be like, hey, what you think of that rule booklet? And they'd be like, it's going to be laughter. I'm going to be talking to like Dan King, be like, hey, Dan, what you think of that rule booklet? That's, like, it's just... And this is nothing new either. Like, trust me, as content creators, we talk about games that we cover together. And it's like, oh, yeah, that one. I remember that one. Yeah, that was one. That was a game. No Overland map part of the game. I saw a world map once. Maybe the next project. I think I saw this a prologue. Too much to come to think. I saw a post showing off some Ultra Deluxe Hero wooden dashboards. Yes, Ravenwood's book is offering some amazing things in the Pledge Manager. Wow. That feels like the kind of thing that you would want to put on the campaign page, huh? If you have a woodworking company, where is this? Is it only in their add-ons? No, it's not. That's wrong. Where did he even find that? What the hell are they talking about? Is that it? No. Now I'm even more annoyed. Because here's the thing. If they have that, that's a way to get a huge chunk of money in one go. Like, oh, yeah, I'll pay $800 to get a custom blah, 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 or $600, whatever it is. Wow. I saw a post showing off some Ultra Deluxe Hero wooden dashboards. Yes, is offering some amazing things in the Pledge Manager. Interesting in these. I'm assuming they'll be compatible with the entire Vrahode range. You have a premium deluxeified add-on to your premium feeling game with a super cool... Like, your coolest thing is that plastic tray system. And you're telling me there's an even cooler wood tray system that I could purchase as an add-on. And I don't have information about it unless I'm sifting through the comments or on your social media. That is a full point grade bump down. That is inexplicable. I would love it if anyone can give me a reason in their head why that would make sense not to mention, or dare I say, pound your chest about it. And I'm going to guess that it's a very limited amount kind of thing, but you know what you do when you have a limited amount of something like this? You mention it so you can sell it on the Kickstarter page where people are going to give you money. I don't feel like anyone should have to be told that if you're launching a Kickstarter, right? Like, that's so inexplicable to me. Jeff, will you be self-funding a portion of this product cost and fulfillment given the most funding garnered so far here? Yep, that is the elephant in the room. That is 100%. I'm glad. Super backers, they ask good questions. Worth their weight in gold. Let's see how Jeffrey answered it. Also, how thick will the encounter maps be? Will they have some sort of protective coating to improve their durability? I think they're laminated, if I recall correct. The ones I have, they seem fine. Yes, I will. The map boards will be 400 GPS and have a matte scratch-resistant varnish coating as the standees, dashboard, and trackers. Yes, I will. Just so yes, and that's good to know, because if the answer was no, I'm not planning on it, I could not conceive of a bigger red flag. So yes, good. And I don't doubt it, because once again, at the conventions, years in advance, expensive, cool. Thank you for your generosity. Only wish we were able to garner more financial support for you. Jeff, congrats on meeting your funding goal. We will meet at this thing. I'm the guy walking through the shuttle to the airport. Thanks for the following project. Congratulations on funding. Yeah, and I bet he was just pounding the curb, bringing it to conventions and whatnot. Like I said, 90% of this feels great. Great. Like $100,000, $200,000 slam dunk. Yep, you did it. You did exactly what you tried to do. You started a big franchise. Congratulations, do your RPGs and all this knick-knack, paddybacks, all that crap that you're going for. Right? Like, that's the goal. And it just, I feel like they did 90% of the stuff they need to do to get it, and then the 10% they just kind of we'll skip on that. And it's just, it's inexplicable, you know? Like, I'm humbled by all the many and mean great reviews. I'm also cracking up because whenever I play a game for the first time, I get most of the rules right, but then I find out that I missed a few. These reviewers are doing such a great job, they're experiencing the same issue. It's nice to know that the rules have tightened up and have been much clearer since the review copies shipped, however. This was 1 day ago! I wonder if he saw... No, he didn't. There's no he saw it. Because, yeah, I've been talking about this game to a couple people. Not glowingly. Which, why would I? Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I would love your answer to the poll. Is this level of transparency some people want? Because if I do review copies from now on, like if I actually get them sent to me, I plan on being this blunt and transparent. Even if I'm getting paid. We're breaking the fucking wheel here. Alright? And some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to loathe it. They're never going to send me another thing ever again. And that's fine. I understand why, and I respect it. But I'm done. I'm going to give you my honest thoughts, blunt, every time on every Kickstarter prototype. There will not be any previews where there are no negative opinions going forward. There will be blunt, honest thoughts and everything. I'm going to try. It's hard to do, but I feel like this was a good start. Let me know what you think about it. Because, yeah, Vrahode, I want to see it succeed. It's a fun game. It's a fun system. But Kickstarter looks really, really not what it needs to be. A lot of red flags. Needs to be blind play tested. But judging from that post right here, like, I guess that's the best way to handle it, right? Because pretty much what he's saying is, yeah, the reviewer said it was garbage. Like, if we really read through the lines here, it's like, glad to see they're like me and mix up some rules. But that's because the rule booklet wasn't well written, right? I do want to see exactly how I worded that, because that was really, I think that was a good way to answer it, honestly. Like, that, I feel like that was a really great way to answer that question. Because you, like... Okay. Man. I want to see this do better than this. Alright, so final grade for Vrahode, Age of Prophecy. Do I want it? Yes, I do. Me and my son, when it finally started to roll, had some good fun with this one. And it's fun to upgrade, and he's excited to restart it, because our stuff got bumped, and so we have no idea where our fatigue and our stamina stuff were. So yes, do I want it? I do. I still plan on playing with the prototype that I have, and there still might be some videos that I do potentially before the end of this, like a gameplay or something like that. But the problem is, that rule booklet's so clunky. But that's neither here nor there. We're focused on the Kickstarter page. Done with that. Do I want it? Yes. Can you do it? Yeah. Can you do it's a weird one, because you only have $15,000 to make a massive box game. It's not just a massive box game that you're making. It's a massive box game with a big box full of plastic minis. So there's 2 boxes there, and another separate box which conceivably just be full of acrylics and the thing. So essentially 3 boxes. That's not terrible. Yeah, that's not terrible. Hard stop. That's a lot better. So 3 is not the end of the world. So can you do it? I'm going to give it the nod, because they have gotten the ball this far. They have made these prototypes. They've been to conventions. They've sent it out to reviewers. They have fine-tuned. They have a team. And I don't want to be an asshole, but if this is the Kickstarter you're launching, I think you need to seriously reevaluate who on your team is doing the Kickstarter and how they're doing it. And I'll leave it at that. And I can't imagine many people are going to disagree with that. Same with your rule booklet person. That person, I don't want to turn this into like shock jock, sports radio. Like, you should fire the coach today. Like, but that rule booklet writer, like the fact that it's this far and it's getting to reviewers, and reviewers apparently more than one, because I haven't reached back out to them to tell them my concerns yet with the rule booklet. Like, it's going to be a pretty lengthy video. I think it's going to be like 30, 40 minutes of me really analyzing the rule booklet, which is what I do at Fiverr. I do a Fiverr pretty much. I'm pretty much just giving a Fiverr of it. Can you do it? Yeah. I think they're just going to push it over the finish line. Period. I really hope they polish that rule booklet up all dang day before then. And then how much is it? It's a good price, I feel like. But no rule booklet. That was a point grade bump down. I know there was another one for something or other as well. Like, there's a lot of red flags, and I can't just tell you to ignore them, because hopefully this person has enough money to push this out the door, right? But if this thing stalls, like, what if this is sitting at 21K? How much were they planning on footing in the bill, right? Like, you're not planning on this thing going to 21, 24, 27, right? That's not the number in your head. You're thinking minimum 50, 60, I gotta imagine. 800 print run minimum. 500 print run minimum. This one feels like one that's going to relaunch, honestly, and that sucks, because I imagine if they're spending this much on all these videos and this much on this, that, the other thing, they're probably paying for advertising. And right now, they are front and center on Kickstarter's front page. I was shocked to see this. It's still there. This such Hey, look, a great price. Hey, look, a player count. Hey, look, a clearly defined box that's cool. And a player count, even though it's too small. Like, just things that... I will definitely check out your gameplay video if you post one. Yeah, I'll probably get one up with my son, because he really does dig the game. And the peg system does make me feel so much better. So, final grade for this one. It's not good. This is not... It doesn't feel like a good campaign. It just... At all. Which sucks, but there's a lot of good stuff here, and I think a lot could be fixed. Like, just fix it. Like, just focus on the damn tray. Focus on the tray. That's your gimmick. That's the thing. 20 adventures, the tray, and the wooden one. Show me the wooden one, because here's the bottom line. If I'm one of those people in the comments, and I really want to see you succeed, and you're telling me that you're footing the bill on this, and I can go back and I can check your track record. I can see on Board Game Geek, you were 2 years ago at Origin showing this damn thing off. I see the polish. I can see 20 missions, but you're not showing me. And that's the problem. So for that, D? No, it's an F. I already gave it 2-point grade bump downs, and I don't feel like it was already a solid project before that, so I feel like it's... Fudge, an F? Man, come on. Somebody else in the chat, tell me it's not an F. Tell me like a D+. It's a D+ for us. Not so bad. Leads with a great price. Leads with a great... But not having the rule booklet. Not having the rule booklet. It's so damning and so inexplicable. And not... yeah, I'm going to go with it. D-. We're going with D-, because it still has the tray. It still has so much good stuff. And I feel like it's just some easy tweaks here and there from easily being a lot higher, right? Like a C- immediately. And you just slap that rule booklet there. Mention, I don't know. Yeah, D-. And that might be me. Let me know in the comments below what's your final grade for this one. We're all over the board on this one. That was Vrahode, Age of Prophecy, a game that I really hope turns out to be freaking spectacular. Let me know in the comments below what's your final grade for this one. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. Also, there will not be a show, I believe, next Monday. Have a good week. Have a good one. Bye-bye. It's only Thursday.